And we are live. Let me just set up the chat here real quick. Pop that up. All right. Okay, everybody that's joined us, thanks for coming in. We are just about to get started here. Well, as people are coming in, I need to do just a little housekeeping before I introduce our guest tonight. But for my last stream, there was a gentleman. I had mentioned on that stream that there was a few things that my channel was, the things that were important to me. It would probably come out on my channel, and that was, God, family, XRP, and digital assets, and developing real estate. And this question came from my last stream, and it was a question about God, and his question to me, wanted to know what I thought about it, was, does sometimes, day trading and trading digital assets can feel like gambling. He wanted to know what I thought about that. Do I think God considers that gambling? My view on that is, I believe God does not want us participating in games of chance, that kind of thing. I don't consider an investment a game of chance. Tonight's guest is Kevin Cage, and he is an amazing guy. I know you all know who he is, but one thing Kevin always says is do your homework, look at the fundamentals. And I think if you do your homework and you look at the fundamentals, you are doing your due diligence, and that is not a game of chance. So I hope that helps. That's my feeling about it. And I hope that answers your question. You can DM me if that didn't quite get it done. But anyway, so moving on to tonight's show, super excited about this. We have Mr. Velvet Voice himself, Kevin Cage, who has been gracious enough and kind enough to join me tonight for a discussion. And we're going to open it up for questions from the chat room. But at first, I've got a few questions prepared for Kevin that I'd like to ask him as we get going. So, Kevin, are you there?
Hey, Venture, what's up? Thanks for having me.
We're glad you're here. Now, he's
the Velvet Voice.
He is, yeah. Well, you are. Kevin is joining us through a Zoom audio call. So hopefully the audio is good. If you'll let us know, people are saying hi, Kevin, so apparently they can hear you.
I'll get a nice webcam one of these days.
Okay, good. Kevin, King Blue says hi. Well, you may be able to see the chat on your end. I don't know. So.
Yeah, yep. I'm reading the chat on my phone. What's
Very
up, guys? Good. Miss C, Peru Crypto, PC.
All right. Thanks, guys, for being here. Again, super excited about this first interview, obviously, I've done. And I was excited that Kevin accepted the invitation. So, Kevin, couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Just to start out, by way of introduction, would you mind telling those that are listening kind of how you got into this space? How did you get into digital assets and, of course, ultimately XRP?
All right, let me see here. So it's been a long road, honestly. I have not been around, in the space. It's not like I was an early investor and bought in 2013. I remember my econ professor in 2013 telling me about Bitcoin, telling us to buy it. That was one of my biggest regrets. I remember sitting in class and some of my buddies were, trading penny stocks and making some good returns. So it definitely piqued my interest. And I looked into it, and I remember I didn't actually see XRP's price until probably March of 2017. And I'll have to double check, but I swear it was like half a penny, like 0.006 or whatever it was. And I was kind of confused in looking at it, and obviously seeing through XRP chat or Reddit or whatever the medium was back then, seeing everyone call XRP a banker's coin or bankster's coin, centralized, scam, things of that nature. So I was kind of curious, but then I did look into it, looked at the website, did what little news was available then, and it piqued my interest. And I was like, well, can't hurt to buy a little bit. So again, it was harder. The barrier to entry back then was tricky. I mean, you had to kind of learn software wallets and buying Bitcoin and then transferring and finding an exchange. Was looking at, I've always been very entrepreneurial and going after different things and having very, very successful friends that I was envious of. And me usually just kind of having shiny object syndrome, seeing something, going really hard for 2 to 3 months, getting distracted, and then on to the next thing without fully getting massive success. I would do well with everything I did, but just not to the point where I wanted. And this finally caught my attention, and I was like, I'm going all in. And have a career currently. Oh, see the mail guy behind you.
Yeah, hazards of being on the porch.
in cybersecurity, so pretty technical, big nerdy guy, honestly. And from there, I just fell in love, and obviously the bull run happened. Everybody started paying attention, and the rest is history. So just like you guys, I jumped on the bandwagon.
Well, that certainly helps everybody, know a little bit more about, you and how you got there. And I don't think the techie part surprises anybody when we listen to your videos. And, we hear that, you really are, you go a little deeper into the tech than, say digital asset investor and probably myself and others. So, and I think that's what everybody, responds to with your videos. And so we appreciate that. Okay, next question. Would you say then that is your wheelhouse? Is tech your wheelhouse when it comes to this space in cryptocurrencies?
I do not think so at all.
Okay.
I mean, I understand DLT and blockchain at a high level. I know enough to, discuss it, understand it. I can watch plenty of TED Talks and hours of interviews and understand graphs and diagrams. But at the end of the day, I prefer to just study the fundamentals. I'm looking at what everyone else is imagining. I imagine, whether that's the team, the original investments, the connections, the news. And I mean, back in 2017, one article, we'd be lucky to get one piece of news like early 2017 a week, and it wouldn't even be that big. And keep in mind the price, we saw it go up to 20 cents, 40 cents, 80 cents, and the bull run came. And we surpassed well over $3, depending on how you measure it. And keep in mind, the barriers to entry did not even exist at this time. So this was full speculation. Some people believe that. Some people were testing the rails for XRP, injecting liquidity, seeing how the price reacted within the order books. I don't know. It's anybody's guess. But at the end of the day, this price pump got a lot of people's attention. And I wholeheartedly believe, just like in every market, there's tons and tons of manipulation going on, and it's not over yet. So I'm getting very, very bullish end of year. I'm not doing this to get attention. I am just expressing my sentiment on YouTube. And I believe that XRP is truly the one. I think that Bitcoin, it can be successful. I don't know. I believe it's, centralized, completely inferior technology. But at the end of the day, there's something going on with XRP. And that is where my money is going, at least the bulk of it.
Kevin, in the last question in this little round of get to know Kevin a little bit, can you just tell us what your mother's maiden name is and probably your bank PIN number? Would that
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Brown.
Yeah, no. Hey, listen, I've got to back up here a little bit. I have received some of the first ever super chats I've ever gotten. That's kind of cool. But I'm
trying to talk and I keep getting distracted while I'm reading you guys.
Well, that's hard to do. It is.
Jay, Handle, thank you guys.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
I don't want anything. You guys save this and buy XRP and make a difference someday.
Yeah, well, I want everyone to know anything that comes in on this super chat, I am forwarding half of it to Kevin and XRP. I just think that'd be fair and right. But let's just see what some of the comments are. I think the first one came in from George Ratledge and stay bullish venture. If you can throw half to Kevin. Oh, see, I didn't even read that. And that's what it said. Can you throw half to Kevin also? Please do so. God bless. Absolutely. That was my plan from the very beginning. If so much as $1 came up, I was going to do that with Kevin. I just think that's awesome. First to show XRP done deal. Some love from CKJ. Thank you so much. 50K incoming for XRP Venture. Again,
can I
kind.
address one? I see a comment here.
Yes,
this
please
is either Tuddy or Tootie Loco 1. says there will never be a cashless society anytime soon in the United States. Please, everyone, stop thinking that XRP is going to blow up in the next few months, because it's not. I mean, we'll be surprised. And my basically retort to this is, I'm not saying XRP is replacing fiat. We're not buying it with coffee. I believe that in terms of the whole fundamental, how the hierarchy of payments work, XRP will be on the settlement layer. Now, I'm not talking about payments in real-time payments. Notice all the banks around the world are upgrading, and they're doing this behind the scenes, and we see that they're investing billions upon billions into blockchain. Blockchain is one type of DLT, and to settle payments in value, you need a cryptocurrency. They're going to pick the best one with the best consensus mechanism, the best settlement time, security, scalability. You get the gist. And what I'm saying is that it will be on the core ledger for central banks. It is the highest chance compared to any other walled garden coin, because it's being distributed, it's on a permissionless basis. And people argue and say, okay, well, JPM coin, some other CBDC, central bank digital currency, can do the same thing. Highly, highly unlikely, just with the landscape, because then it's going to require trust. The US dollar, we can tokenize it, say it's going to stay the world reserve currency, whatever. I'm not going to get into that conspiracy. But at the end of the day, whatever organization is in control of this currency, it's going to require trust. Whether it's Europe or the US, you're still going to have to trust them. The only way to create this level playing field that you hear in all these talking points is to create something that is distributed as much as possible, maybe not fully decentralized, but it has to work within the system. So then they can all come and choose, especially when it's integrated with ILP, the Interledger Protocol. They're trying to form XRP as obviously the best option and leave it at that and make it as distributed as possible. So the more central bank digital currencies, the more assets that are tokenized, the better the chance and the more bullish I become. Because we've been building this infrastructure since 2012. You could argue, back in 2004 with Ryan creating Ripple, but again, it's evolved over time, thanks to Chris Larson.
I'm glad you mentioned it. I agree with the comment that, I don't think fiat need. Bitcoin was never created to pay for your coffee at Starbucks, and for that matter, neither is XRP. Bitcoin especially was created to work. They wanted to work outside of the system. They wanted that to be a total separate currency that could be used without banks, without government, without anything. The last thing they wanted to do was really be involved with paying for your coffee at Starbucks. I think that's a new thing that has kind of evolved that people would like, thinking that creates more adoption and then that brings the price up. But you're absolutely right. What problem do you have now when you go to Starbucks? You can whip out your credit card and debit card or cash or whatever and pay for it. You don't necessarily need to pay for it with XRP. It is for, hopefully getting a large chunk of that SWIFT cross-border remittance settlement. And so would you agree with that, Kevin?
Yes, sir. I mean, I think it's pretty evident, especially this past year, just comparing everything, even with Bitcoin trying to add on this, layer 2 technology, the Lightning Network. Bitcoin is not going to solve the payments problem. It's very, very obvious. If they want to fall back on that store of value in speculation, hey, who knows whether it goes to 0 or goes to 20K again or 100K? It's anybody's guess. But for me, I'm investing in an actual digital asset that serves a purpose and is actually proving that purpose right now. So that's where my money's going. I don't think that fiat's disappearing anytime soon whatsoever. Would it be tokenized? Yeah. I mean, who knows in the next 10 years? But I just don't understand when people comment and just say scam or shill and, they don't actually do their own research. Like, don't just sit on YouTube. Don't just sit on Twitter. Don't just read articles. Look at everything. Look at, there's so much information out there at our fingertips. And I just believe that we're all responsible for our own success.
That's funny that you say that, because I entitled this show State of the Utility Address. Because it really is all about utility, isn't it?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, a couple more of these super chats real quick, if that'd be all right.
Yeah.
Handle sent over a couple dollars and wanted everyone says please hit the thumbs up on let's see what. Please hit the thumbs up on the show. Venture some love, and we appreciate you, Handle. Handel's a good guy. If you're not following Handel, follow Handel. Everybody that's here, man, we appreciate you. T-Bird sent $2 over. Thank you so much for the support. But this one just, oh, wait, Aiden trading. Aiden
my
is
little brother.
Aiden is now my new 1971 Chevy short bed four-wheel drive buddy. We both have a old Chevy truck on our Twitter banners at the top. So, Aiden, thank you for the $5 support. That is so great. Tell Kevin I said hi. So we appreciate that. And then this one's crazy. Peru Crypto sent, holy mackerel. This is, wait a minute.
Gotta calm down, PC.
I am way down to where, holy mackerel. Peru Crypto sent $50 in support to us and says, love for Venture and Kevin. Peru Crypto, thank you so much. We see you supporting everybody all over, and that's just amazing. And we really do appreciate it. I don't even know, I kind of agree with Kevin's sentiments. We're getting so much support here. It's crazy, but you guys really need to buy your family some more XRP, but that is so awesome. Let me get down here again. I'm so far behind. I don't want to, Susan sent over $2 and says, thank you, Kevin. You're amazing. I agree with that. Kevin is amazing. We appreciate him so much for being here. And if I can get through this, CKJ, another $10. Appreciate XRP Venture and Kevin Epic.
Thank you, sir.
Warning, bullish content. We're going to get back to that. We're going to get Kevin's comments about how bullish he is, because I know he is. Andy, $20 of support. Thank you, Andy, so much. It's a done deal. That's something I like to say because I really do believe it is. And then Aiden trading. Are you kidding, Aiden, again? Kevin is the man. He loves Kevin Cage, and he looks up to you, buddy, and he should. That is awesome. Sent over another $10. Peru Crypto, what are you doing? Another $20. In Venture We Trust. That is so cool. Thank you very much. Andy, another done deal, $10. You guys, this is probably enough. Seriously, it's almost, I'll start blushing and Kevin will blush, but we can't see him. So I may hear it in his voice. Case, thank you so much for the $5 contribution. He says, bullish, get him, Venture, and Kevin. Okay, King Blue has sent $10 to support us. Keep doing this. Love it. King Blue, thank you so much. Okay, I think we're finally back down to the bottom. Kevin, if you've got any of the comments, I didn't have time for any of that, but
yeah, let me just continue a little rant. I was just kind of thinking while I was reading the comments, but like a lot of people are saying, okay, it's never going to hit 50 cents, $1, $3. We've heard this whole thing before. And again, I mean, it's going to be proven based off utility to raise that ground floor. But when this market is rampant with manipulation, anything can happen. There was a study by JP Morgan in terms of market capitalization with the crypto space. So really quick, I know a lot of people that have seen my videos hear me discuss this, but I just want to emphasize this. Market cap is complete fairly that when the cryptocurrency market was at $300 billion altogether, Bitcoin, XRP, Ether, what happens is discover a 50x multiplier effect with that example alone. So why is it so far-fetched to have a higher value?
Yeah, I'm
not sure if you're lagging there, but it's really, I mean, market cap is literally just the last traded price on an order book times the circulating supply. Down again, absolutely. But without the system, it's going to keep the pressure on the order books, especially when hundreds of thousands of transactions just like that, and someone else sends one when one is already on the way. That's creating an overlap in the transaction, and that's going to increase the price dramatically, and it'll keep happening repetitively. And what happens historically is there's never not overlap when this occurs. So I don't know if I'm getting way too techy.
No. Well, and that was one of us, why that those people that say it won't go to 50 cents, what have you, are wrong. But so then what is it then? Is it sheer a volume of transactions then? Is that in your mind, the only thing that drives the price? Is that it, or do you? No, there's a variety of factors, but that's higher volume equates to higher demand. Okay. And the higher demand will drive the price. So in your mind,
sorry if I say
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Can you repeat that? There's some lag going.
I'm sorry.
What moves the price?
What moves the price, and what has to happen in your mind for that to happen?
Same thing that happened before, plus actual utility, higher volume. I mean, there's so many more on-ramps more than ever. There's more exchange listings. There's more money in the system, more attention. If you pay really close attention, you'll actually see that the metals market moves in sync with cryptocurrency. So, I mean, obviously I have my own, theories with that. But I mean, what I want to emphasize is like, when I originally invested into XRP, I told myself, all right, long-term investment, I'd imagine that's 5 years minimum. And even that's arguably not that long for an investment, especially with this potential. And you have to just look. I mean, I might have, said this already, but there's so many FIs, financial institutions, and banks that are updating their real-time payment systems. There's, regulations coming daily. There's pressure with the SEC, even with this whole, fintech week at DC. MGI, MoneyGram is literally Alex Holmes CEOs begging for on-demand liquidity to scale faster. All signs are pointing to adoption. So I know we're at the lowest point in this bear market. And if you're talking about cycles, that's a whole other story, which is entirely possible with algorithms and patterns. But I know that upsets some people. So, hey, just focus on price and see what happens. But guys, this would historically, in my opinion, be the worst time to sell and give up. I don't want to buy high and sell low. I want to do the opposite.
Absolutely. It seems like things are heating up, and like you mentioned to me in a private DM that, everything is ticking and headed towards Swell. And how much of that do you think is planned or just coincidental?
There's no coincidences. There's too many coincidences at this time. So, I mean, in my opinion, I think with this market, with all this QE, quantitative easing, I think you have to own other things besides the US dollar. Own property, own metals like silver, gold, platinum, own cryptocurrency where you can own the actual protocol of a network, especially if it's used. It's in the speculative phase where there's risk, where the money is made. Maybe have some cash reserves ready to capitalize during a crash. I don't know if a lot of you know Greg Manarino. I do listen to him a lot too with his, daily podcasts or updates, market updates. And I mean, he's just talking about how people are blind, and we correlate a growing stock market with a healthy economy, when in reality, things are the opposite. Stocks, of course, my prediction as well, is they're going to be artificially inflated to all-time highs again, with literally billions upon billions of dollars daily being pumped into the system. We're going to see, this QE is creating an artificial pump. These companies with this money are buying back their stocks, fooling, everyday middle class and lower class people. The economy has never been in a more fragile state, a worse position, in my opinion. They're, separating, and it's going to rob everybody like blind. And like, I just think that, with these stock buybacks, this has been happening for a long time. This is going to be a repeat from 2008, but I believe that this could potentially be the everything bubble. And I'm not saying that to scare people. I'm just saying, hey, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. But you just hear the keyword liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. In every financial crisis, you can go in any document, even in the International Monetary Fund, and read. And liquidity is key. And that is exactly what XRP does. When you're looking at other cryptocurrencies, people, associate it with, oh, just value, paying for coffee. When in reality, this is actually a use case that even Swift is not capable of doing. Fun fact, Swift is not capable, and they don't even control the correspondent banking network. They are, they do not have the funds that Ripple has, first off. Next, they have a correspondent banking network partner to handle all of this. And obviously, this was built pre-internet, pre-digital era, 40 years old. The infrastructure, everything is clunky. Interoperability protocols, similar messaging standards, different, languages, different, APIs and gateways, 3 to 5 days. And I love that thing. I was watching Alex Kopp stream the other day when he was showing, Brad Garlinghouse how to speak and talking mathematically. Right. XRP is significantly less volatile when you're sending it, whether 3 to 5 seconds, 20 seconds, 2 minute transaction versus 3 to 5 days going through the legacy systems via fiat. I love that. And that's so true. And I think more people need to hear about that, because that's one of the common FUD points that people say. And for all of you in this chat, literally go to fudbingo.com or something like that. Go read through every little thing with XRP. It'll go through one at a time, and it has a good, brief, concise explanation for, any fear. And if there's anything else, like, ask the community. Like, we're all supporting each other, helping each other learn. And I'll I'll tell you one thing, there is an answer for everything. There's no such thing as a perfect investment. So do not just have confirmation bias because you bought a bunch of XRP. You think it's going to go to $1,000 because you don't like your job. You still have to be realistic. There's nothing wrong with dreaming, but I mean, all signs point to bullish, like wild success.
Well, just to back up a little bit, I totally agree with your comments about the stock market and it being completely artificially inflated, and the fact that we need to brace ourselves and we need to be awake. Can you mention that guy's name one more time that you listen to for me and for others that are on here? We'd probably go check him out. Who is that?
Yeah. Greg Manarino.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so just check him out on YouTube. Type in Greg Manarino. Check him out. Take everything with a grain of salt. Believe everything I hear, but form your own conclusions.
So let's talk about Swell for just a second.
Yep.
And, the one thing I liked and I wanted to do on this was, when you do your videos, I'm sure you have your prepared notes and they're in chronological order and what have you. But here, I just kind of wanted you to speak more off the cuff. Where are you at and what's your internal speculation on what may or may not happen at Swell and or, the last minute content creator invitation, which quite honestly, you and CKJ both should have.
They are getting content creators there live, and YouTube content creators have more of a reach than CNN. So it's just the smart strategic move, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that I didn't think of that, but I think that would be accurate. Yeah, that they want to shortcut the FUD and have their people that they can trust, get the word out to the community. And I think you're exactly right. And then where do you think we go before and after in terms of, I know nobody likes price predictions and you're no exception, I know, but just for fun, what do you think could potentially happen?
The second you give out a price, people are going to try to attack you, and that's fine. Nobody has the answers.
Nobody does.
Well, maybe someone does. Who knows? The guys at Ripple, but nobody has the answers, guys. This is all just entertainment. It is truly anybody's guess. And if it happens and I'm right, don't follow me religiously, please, because I still don't know. I'm just following the fundamentals. My prediction is this. I believe that I follow some other people that follow cycle analysis, but I still form my own opinion. And based off what I'm seeing on the charts and historical data, I think that once, whether we go up or down from here, I believe that once we break through the dirty 30, break through 30 cents, we are going to see some big candles, and there will be very little resistance stopping us. Now, what's going to happen is I think it's going to be such a big candle, and if it does approach all-time high again, it will do it quickly. The reason being is because they're still going to try to get more people's money on the retail side, everyday people. So it's going to spike, let's say 80 cents or $3 again. Your friends, your mom, everyone's going to go buy it, and then boom, it'll retrace to $2. And then everyone's going to sell thinking it's a scam. And then boom, potentially spike again, a month or two later. The manipulation is still there. That's just my personal belief. I am a little cynical, but yeah, I like calling it the dirty 30. I see people laughing about that.
I think that's
I'm sick of that range. 25, 30.
I know. Seriously.
Let's get out of there.
It's like, come on, can we get off the 30-cent thing? But I love that. That's my new favorite saying, the dirty 30.
2.5 years looking at the charts every 15 minutes.
Gosh, yeah. And then to see it go back to 29 and 27, like, are you kidding me right now? Anyway, well, it's so true. Nobody has a clue. It's just, if people would take the price speculation with just the fun of what if, I think it'd be a lot better received instead of like, oh, well, Kevin or Venture said it would go to the moon, So
well, they use it against you later, and it's easy to be a keyboard warrior, and it's more difficult to voice your own opinion out here and make yourself vulnerable. But at the end of the day, nobody knows. So
okay,
I'm grateful for everybody.
Real quick, we got to acknowledge Peru Crypto, who says, Kevin, I love you, brother, and sent another $20 in support. It's just
love you, man. Thank you.
That's great, Peru. I don't need, Susan sent another $2 and said, I love Kevin too, right behind Peru. You guys are awesome. Handel sent $5, said, Kevin, we love you, man. Let's see. And Handel sent another $5. You guys, Handel, thank you so much. Venture Breakout Star, all the love. Thank you, Handel. That's very kind. Okay. I think we've got them now. And okay, so let me go to, did you see a comment in there that you wanted to address before I ask you another one?
You can go ahead. I'm going to read through the chat a little bit.
Let me ask you one real quick that I think we haven't talked about. I haven't heard anybody really talking about in the last couple of weeks. News has been coming out so quickly that the news that you heard 3 weeks ago that was like, are you kidding me? That is so cool. We forget about and haven't talked about. And yet I think it's worth going back and talking about it. But I'd like to get your take on, because I remember when it came out and what I thought of it. But what do you think of Ripple's new marketing strategy and the fact that they are taking all their solutions, putting it into one enterprise software solution, and then rebranding the company with the tagline, on-demand liquidity, ODL? What do you think of that whole marketing and streamlining strategy?
So people think that Ripple is dumping XRP and doing this and that, but in reality, I think that they know exactly what they're doing with strategy. Brad Garlinghouse, I know even, Mr. Level Up mentioned this the other day on the CKJ stream. Brad Garlinghouse successfully developed a VoIP company from the ground up, and he's going to do it again with this. And this is going to be orders of magnitudes bigger with this. This company is not just going to be a payments company. This is going to be massive and actually revolutionize how value is sent today. Now, what I think too, if you want to get more on the conspiracy side, is when they're putting out all this good news, historically during a bear market, XRP is one of the worst performing assets this year. It's creating cognitive dissonance between investors and everyday people. We're seeing great news every week, every day coming out, yet the price is not reflecting that. They're creating a difference. It's making XRP, argument. It makes it look a lot more like an exchange or utility token. Of course, it's not a security. If it was, it would look, obviously they would want it to move with Ripple's news more so. But it's creating cognitive dissonance, and eventually it's going to just tire investors out, everyday people. And I don't think it's just merely to shake everyone out, but they're showing the big guys. I think that Ripple already has a global footprint. It's quite obvious if you see what they're doing in India. You hear the actual Ripple employees speak, and you catch up with all the videos and presentations and PowerPoints they've ever given. Instead of just reading one article and thinking the article's telling the truth, you have to look at the actual source and hear everything from the horse's mouth. There's a lot going on.
Real quick, Peru Crypto said another $10 and said Kevin is right on the money. No one can predict the price of XRP. Peru, thank you. And then one of my favorite people in the world is Doc, and she sent a $2 support and wants to know, why doesn't Ripple advertise? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that they're starting to advertise now. Obviously, with this whole ODL, on-demand liquidity rebranding, they are positioning themselves to work more globally. They're making the typical rounds and appearances in the news, just priming the masses. It's not too big. They're mentioning Bitcoin. They mention XRP. They're mentioning other digital assets. And when this thing pops, it's still going to surprise so many people. People are, arguably just so distracted with everything else. They don't think opportunity exists. They're taught that, money is hard to make. And in reality, there's so much opportunity in front of us at all times. I think that they're ramping up because something big is coming. Obviously, during Swell, I'm expecting a lot of the corridors that they showed in that recent commercial to come out. I think that's what they're just hinting at. MoneyGram's success, I think some potentially huge announcements, but I believe that if there's going to be any massive price jumps, obviously, I think it'll be more towards end of year.
Well, I think too, like you, that one of the announcements at Swell will be more MoneyGram corridors. Don't you think that for sure? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Especially with him.
Now, my question is, obviously Brad was just saying, we have to make sure that there's enough liquidity. They incentivize, the LPs and the market makers out there to develop a healthy ecosystem. But I feel like they've already laid the pipes and he's just playing dumb. I kind of get that vibe.
Yeah, I think
because they've been going at this for 7 years.
I think Brad wants to save the announcement for Swell. Stop putting it out there. Hey, listen, real quick, Danny Loth, who's a great guy, always supports CKJ's channel, and I've chat back with him in the chat all the time. But Danny's he sent $6 at $5.89 anyway, and said Quantum computing will end proof of work assets. XRP to the moon. China will take it. China will take it in the rear on BTC. So, on that front, I'm sure you've heard, I'm sure you know of quantum computing, given your tech savvy stuff, but also the announcement that came out today, a little bit about the quantum computing and Google. What's your thoughts on the quantum computing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think, quantum computing, quantum mechanics is just such an intangible idea to even explain right now. I think we're still early on, in my opinion, at least for mainstream. Could it pose a threat to proof of work assets? Yeah, I mean, sure. I do not know. And for those of you that invest in it, that's awesome. Like, do your own research. You might do great. You might not. But I know what I'm investing with that. And I'm confident with the proof of consensus algorithm. I've listened to hours and hours of David Schwartz explain it. And he's pretty transparent. He explains the faults where they fall short and solution. With everything, there's going to be an infinite amount of data to analyze. And eventually you just have to pull the trigger and make a decision. And banks are being forced to adopt. Remittance is good. Ripple's tackling the smaller stuff. I wholeheartedly believe that Quarter Settler will use settlement finance be used to settle trillions upon trillions.
Well, you did say I don't agree with, quite honestly. I 2 or 3 of my videos, I've mentioned Bitcoin as a kind of a distractionary coin. Hey, look over here, while the other hand is really getting something, preparing what they really want to do. Anyway, GXRP, another great guy, sent in $4 in support. Didn't leave a comment, but we'll comment back to you. Thank you very much. It's really kind of you. It's hard to support everybody's channel, especially monetarily, but we really appreciate you for doing that. And then there was one comment, and I've tried to remember the name, and I can't. I apologize. But he said, I'd send some money, but I'm broke. He bought in at a much higher price, and man, nobody needs to send in anything. I don't think Kevin expects it, and I certainly don't, and it's more than fine. But you're going to get your money back. Just hang on and hold, like Kevin says. This is not a time to get weak hands. Just stay the course. So
you only lose when you sell. And
that's right.
When you're seeing what's happening with the Federal Reserve and everything printing, I mean, think of yourself as smart for hedging your bet a little bit in another asset. You only sell when you lose. You've made it this far, whether you just hopped on a month ago or you've been here for, since the 2017 bull run. You've been working so hard and keeping up with it. Why on earth would you give up now? I mean, we are an XRP community. We stick together. But at the end of the day, I don't want it to seem coldish, because sometimes it can. But That's why I stick to the actual research. I don't want to stick to, too much hype per se. But I do not blame anybody for having hype, because this is exciting. This is, uncharted territory. We've never seen anything like this happen before. So you should be excited. It
could seem cultish, and, because we're...
Sometimes.
There is so much news.
People can get intense.
There is so much news that my boys just decided to run outside and distract me. So sorry, guys, that's a hazard of being on the porch again. But there is so much news that, it's not cultish. You're not listening to the same stuff, and, you're just hanging on to old news and hopes and dreams and desires. I don't think so. Anyway, so just hang on to your assets, guys. And then real quick, from XRP Chicago, sent us $5 in support, and here's his comment. It's great. If you want to take over an established reveal is the very last step. I would.
I like that. I like that. And yeah, I mean, sorry to interrupt, but
no, you're good.
Really, the longer that price stays at this low level, everybody is today. Why is the price so low? And it does become more bullish, whether this rubber band and it'll just shoot higher up when it goes. But this is leading me to believe that when the price does finally break and start moving, it's meant to move up quickly instead of this slow, steady rise. I believe in the slow, steady rise. Don't get me wrong. But the longer we're being surprised.
Rubber band, and then that's a perfect. Okay. Farshad sent us a $10 support. The XRP community, you both. Please do keep up the great work. Thank you. Thank you very much for both the support and the kind words. Trance, thank you for the $2 support. And Jeff Hardy sent $2 in also. Walking with the wife, can't stay but I'll be back. Well, thank you, Jeff. We welcome you back anytime. GXRP, another $2. Here's a tip for the person that couldn't send tips. I will go back through the chat and I will find that person, and I too will send them. I will match that. G, thank you for that. That's the community that we're in, isn't it, Kevin? Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, no, I love it. Like, they're really the most tight-knit group. And I mean, I hope that, we're adding value and encouraging them to do their own research too, because everybody on Twitter, everyone in the XRP community has taught me a lot too. I'll do my best to watch, a lot of YouTubers on 2x speed when I'm working or, going about my everyday. And I try to keep up. And then on weekends, I'll catch up and read way too much. Sometimes I feel like I don't have a life, but I know it'll all be worth it. And like with investing, like, I just don't want people, I guess everyone has different standards and they shouldn't compare themselves to others. Everyone has their own level of risk tolerance. And
right. Do you think Ripple already knows they are the chosen one by the powers to be, or are they still a struggling startup company trying to make their way in the world and prove their tech is superior and are trying to win over the powers to be?
I think that the higher ups know what's really happening. They see the partnerships, you see the acquisitions, you see the partners with Earthport and some of the bigger guys, Accenture, dating back 2013, 2015, all these proof of concepts being happening. I think they're really playing it dumb, and maybe the newer employees think that they're getting some momentum as a successful financial technology startup. But no, the funding, you got to follow the money, see what's happening on the back end. We've seen this before in other industries, and the same thing is happening right in front of us. This is, I think that a lot of people, if this is your first time investing, this is going to teach us more than any other investment ever. It's teaching you the psychology of an investor. And I've learned so many skills and through dollar cost averaging and just everything. We are in a great position right now. And I know it might seem hard right now, and I'm right there with you. I wake up and have days where I'm just like, come on, but I know what's coming.
Well, I mentioned this the other day, and you just can't take a 7-year startup and have the high level meetings that they have now or have had, and not think that they have that they know. Obviously, they know more. They've admitted, that they have non-disclosures signed and they can't talk, and of course, and
so many.
But man, wouldn't you just love to be a fly on the wall? So what do you think of? You remember Bob Way? I don't know where he goes. He comes and goes, but
yeah, we got to get him on Cobb Stream again. That was awesome. I was actually rewatching that today.
One of his comments that I thought was pretty interesting, and you wonder when you speculate about the current price. One of the things that he commented that I thought was interesting was that if XRP went to $100, $300 overnight, would there be an employee left in the building? How do you?
Good question. I think that's why they're trying to find passionate people. But I get it. That's a funny question as well, because you don't want everyone just to quit on you.
Yeah, where all of a sudden they wake up, they've got $1 million in the bank. Do they even show up for work on Monday?
Maybe they lock all their Ripple employees in escrow.
That sign-on bonus, that a year into your, after you something. Anyway, interesting question. CKJ says Danny Loth is a legend. Danny Loth is a legend. It's Danny. I read your comment. I saw that you had or something, and you were wondering if Kevin answered your question, and he did. Sorry you missed that, buddy. Or noticed or picked up on?
Didn't say about decoupling. I think there's some lagging of the internet's kind of going in and out. I'm getting some VoIP from lagging, so I'm doing my best to answer. It's absolutely happening soon. Just looking at the XRP BTC chart when it happens. But again, I'm not concerned with Bitcoin. I don't care about getting invested into XRP for the institutional from a business standpoint. So it's really not that far-fetched to understand if they wanted to do some type of Shane Ellis theory. It's possible. And
I love that you made the comment that, hey, if you own big BTC, so what? It's okay. It's all good. Real quick, Farshad had sent in another $10 in support and said, I do agree with both of you. And I think, Kevin,
What's that?
you guys make a comment. Can you hear everybody okay? And he sent in a comment. My comment to you was, do you think we have enough time left in this year to see fireworks?
Yeah. Why? If anything, we're in a better position to see some massive price growth than ever before. So that's the exit strategy and, ways to maintain your wealth. Because I think that if a lot of people do have sudden wealth syndrome, they're going to lose it, just like lottery winners. I know we were, talking that the other day.
I agree, and I'd love to have you on again. I'd love to talk about that because I agree with the same thing, that if we don't, have a plan and prepare for, what we're going to do with those funds and those monies and those profits, they can run through your hands like water so quick. And we mentioned this, people once. So last question, and we'll let you go. Okay. At least for me.
Yeah. Sure. No rush.
How do you feel about, and what do you think about the new Washington D.C. office and those that are going to staff that office?
I don't think it's surprising. I mean, we've been, branding Ripple as working with regulators, working with the system forever. So just one step closer. And I think it's just inevitable. I'm curious if they're ever actually going to give regulatory clarity in the U.S. for XRP, or just leave it vague and, the big guys will know what's really going on up top. I think it's just another distraction for the little guy. And everybody talks about it. Everyone uses it as FUD in, comments, and it's just silly. You have to look beyond that. It's not a concern of mine.
Well, Kevin, I really appreciate you coming on. I would love to do it with you again. I know obviously everybody loves hearing from you, especially in a just kind of a candid format. Appreciate the support from everybody. One of the things that I promise I will get a better system, and we'll get this set up. And it's getting a little cold on the porch anyway. We're in northern Arizona and it's getting colder out here. But the other thing I've needed to do is I needed to set up some mods, and I still have not done that, and I need to do that. And all I got to do is figure out how to do it. But there's only
I nominate Peru Crypto.
Peru Crypto is definitely going on there, and some of the others that have been so kind to support us. And everybody, we really appreciate you tuning in and coming on and contributing in the chat, and then contributing through the super chats. Thank you so much. We will do this again. And Kevin, any last thoughts that you'd like to share?
Oh gosh, I could rant forever, guys.
Well, then rant. We want it.
Just understand with XRP and the whole ecosystem, don't be fooled. It's not just mere remittance and sourcing on-demand liquidity and all of these little techie words and jargon. We're looking at micropayments. We're looking at micro lending. We're looking at smart contracts. We're the exchange, store of value, the whole thing. There's so much going on and being built around it. You have to look and remember, Ripple said we're going to focus on building one thing and do it very well, and then bridge out from there. Well, you know what? They're acting like they're not doing that well. I mean, they're underplaying it. And in reality, they're already doing other acquisitions and logos and building derivative products and DeFi products, decentralized finance. You have to see what's really going on. You have to look at Coil. You have to look at this whole Spring initiative. You have to look at UBRI. They're already expanding in different areas. And I think the XRP ecosystem is here to stay. Even if Ripple died, I'm telling you, the ground floor is happening. There's been a lot of XRP that's been lost. Even Matthew Mellon losing hundreds of millions of XRP, people losing private keys just with Bitcoin. The demand is not really there. And I believe the true circulating supply of XRP, a lot of people will say it's 43 billion. I think it's anywhere from 5 to 10 billion truly circulating, minus the original holders and founders, some big original investors. Exchange is holding a lot. And then a lot of people are just storing their assets in cold storage or, some form of custody. So circulating supply is a lot smaller. When money moves through the system, it's not going to take as much as we think. So get ready for a ride. I don't know when it's happening, whether it's tomorrow or a few years from now. I'm just saying that it is coming, and I don't want my money in any other asset.
I agree. So, I'm in deep too, and it is. I have put a lot of trust and faith, and I know really shouldn't put all the eggs in one basket, but I really believe the writing's on the wall. Have they not put together just an amazing staff? I mean, not only at their corporate headquarters, but in their satellite locations around the world. What a team. I mean, what a group of power players, don't you think?
It blows my mind every day. And again, there's risk. I mean, historically, every high net worth individual has gone bankrupt 3 times. Thankfully, I've never been bankrupt, but I'm telling you, this risk is like a no-brainer. I know people have said it's winning the lottery in slow motion. And you know what? People might even make fun of me for saying that because the price is at 27 cents or whatever. But just wait, guys. We'll see.
Yeah, no, it is. And one of the fun things about this, and CKJ says it all the time, you know, we're kind of documenting our journey. We're gonna have the chance to look back in 5 years at all the videos and the tweets and the whole thing, and we'll see where we got it right and where we got it wrong. But,
yeah, I love that. Sorry to interrupt again. There's just some lag, but I actually have a folder and I'm storing every FUD comment, every FUD article, everything, and just storing it. And I'm going to smile back at it. I'll probably be on to better and bigger things in the future, but hey, I just want to look back and smile.
You should write a book about it.
I might.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. All the fun and the real story, you know, or a documentary at that time. So.
Yeah, the skills that everyone investing in XRP is learning, I think they're going to carry with them their whole life.
I agree with that.
Truly.
I agree with that.
As corny as that sounds, there's a lot of psychology and emotional and mental strength that goes into it and into success as a whole.
Well, and it's like you said, you kind of win in the lottery in slow motion, but along with that is a lot of people have put money in that, quite honestly, maybe it was a stretch for their family, or they've sold some things that they, you know, so that they could buy and go a little deeper, and they're kind of doing the delayed gratification, you know, giving up something now for what they, you know, for what they can have later, is something that will carry over with you the rest of your life. Once you realize how great that works, giving up something now, making the sacrifices now for something more later, is a huge life skill.
Yes, sir. And that's hard for people to do, especially, you know, in modern society where everybody's taught to compare their lives on social media and, you know, only show their best version, when in reality, everybody has struggles, everybody has setbacks. And yeah, it's hard. It's a mind game. You have to delay gratification to, you know, and oftentimes be truly successful. So yeah, 100%.
Well, Kevin, thank you again. Can't thank you enough for being the first one that I've had the chance to interview and speak with. And we just really, really appreciate you. Appreciate everybody that's in here. And if Kevin, why don't you just say, you know, the last word, and then we'll go ahead and end this stream.
Yeah, just again, Venture, thanks for inviting me. Hopefully this stream was productive. Hopefully there wasn't too much lagging on our end. Again, we apologize. We'll get some mods, and I'd be happy to make this a regular occurrence because, as you know, I live and breathe XRP. So not a problem. I can talk, and I shoot the shit with my friends and colleagues all the time anyways.
Well, you can plan on that. We're definitely going to do it again. And I appreciate you being here tonight. I appreciate everybody that came in tonight. Those that send in super chats, I don't even know. That is just so cool of you. I think it says, you know, an awful lot about Kevin and how much the community appreciates you, Kevin. I appreciate you. And just thank everybody again for tuning in and watching. So
thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, Venture. Take care, guys.
Good night, Kevin.